So has Betdaq's liquidity increased? And how does Betfair compare to Betdaq? Since I first started trading, Betdaq's liquidity has certainly increased. It's increased a fair amount. However, if you were to ask the question, has it increased to the point where it's now an option to use instead of Betfair full time, then you're likely to get a different answer, unfortunately. So, just looking at the ladders in front of us now, you've got a ladder for Betdaq and a market overview for Betfair. So if I just pause these as they are, you can see from the header bar on the Geeks toy for Betdaq there is £29,638 matched on this 4:30 race at Fontwell. Whereas in comparison, if you look at the header bar of the market overview for Betfair, there's £274,192 matched. So there's a wild difference between the two exchanges still. That still exists. However, what it doesn't show you on the Betdaq ladder is that if you're a consistent winner, you don't pay premium charges on Betdaq, or you certainly don't pay them up to 60% like you do on Betfair. So although there's more chance of winning purely because of the amount of money turned over on Betfair, there's actually very little charges to pay in comparison. So the problem is this, on Betdaq, when you try and take a price, you don't necessarily get the price you wanted, and it's harder because there's less liquidity. So you can see initially I wanted to get involved at 2.68 there, and I managed to get a small stake on, but it was lower than 2.68. So with Betfair, with there being more turnover, it becomes a bit easier to get bets matched at the price that you want. So you're not giving away value at the beginning or the end of a trade, or even worse, both. So you need to have a better edge to use on Betdaq basically, because you're giving away value at the beginning and end of the trade. However, it is possible, as you can see here, just making a few quid just on some very small stakes. As we get towards the end of the live show, liquidity naturally increases as you'd expect. You can see on the left there, just loading up the Betdaq live video. Tends to be quite a bit more reliable than Betfair's, which is handy if you're using both. But you can see that the price has dipped in here and some others have drifted out. The only difference being less money's been matched en route. So all that said, how do the two actually compare? So obviously with Betfair you've got more liquidity within the market, so there's more chance of getting your bets matched. Betdaq there's less, but it makes up for it in other areas, I think. So generated commission is always around about the same. I've known in the past Betdaq to drop their generated commission to as low as 2%, depending on different criteria. However, premium charge, there's a massive difference between the two. With Betdaq, there is no premium charge. Top customers pay an additional 10% of their winnings. However, with Betfair, as soon as you start making money and you've made more than £5,000 and fit the other criteria, which if you read the blog, you'll see the different posts about how it's actually generated. But basically, as soon as you start profiting with Betfair, you're paying 20% premium charge, then 40%, then up to 60%, which is a huge amount of your winnings, and it kind of makes it not worth your time. Other pros and cons, well, I suppose in front of you on the screen there, Betdaq's live video actually works. With Betfair, there's often problems, which I suppose leads into the last point, which is their attitude towards customers. Betdaq, it appears that their attitude towards customers is actually quite proactive. They're actually interested in what they can do for their customers. They've got a few different offers which they're still running actually. They give back trading tool users about 150 quid a week in generated commission if you've opted in for it. Betfair have never done such thing. Betfair don't really care. As soon as there's a problem when the exchange goes down, or a problem with the live video, and you ask them on Twitter or whatever, Betfair just will tell you there's nothing wrong until there's about 10 people going, there is something wrong, it's not working. So to be honest, there's a big difference in attitude, but you can see that Betfair kind of get away with it because obviously they've got the monopoly and they manage to control the market because they have the liquidity. Hopefully over time that will change a bit more. Depending on where you're at in your journey, it depends on what's best for you. I'd probably say big meetings and weekends you might want to use Betdaq.